that. So I thought I would talk about a. So I'm in the UK, and I don't know where all of you are from. But feel free to tell me if you want. But I'm in the UK, and a lot of things are happening now in the UK, and we definitely recently been dealing with. I think my camera's just decided to turn on. Oh, it's back on now. We've obviously we're watching America at the moment. What's happening in America? But we have a party here in the UK called Reform, and there is a lot of talk that Reform now might end up with more. Well, it might end up winning the next election. Who knows? Uh, so if that happens, what can we expect? Where do Reform and Nigel Farage stand on LGBTQ plus issues as polls lead growth? So it is very likely that Reform are definitely going to do very well in the next election, if we like it or not. So it's important to know where they stand on this. Now, I'm sure some of you out there already have quite a good idea on this, but I was in the news today, and I thought I would just cover it a little bit. So if you're not in the UK, you might not know about this, but if you're in the UK, you'll definitely know about it, 100%. So let's just go through it. So what does this article say? What's it talking about today? Okay, so what it's telling us is that Reform UK, it's led by Nigel Farage, this man here. They are classed as a far-right populist party. Okay, they deny that. They deny that they're not. They say they're not far-right, but I mean, their policies do reflect a more far-right, image. Even though a lot of people say no, they don't. But you're going to see now. I'm going to say what their opinion is anyway on LGBTQ plus their stance. So you tell me if you think it's far-right or not. I mean, I'm happy for people to leave comments and tell me if that's not right, or if they have a different opinion, and that's good. Let's talk about it, because they are a popular party. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got recent polling from YouGov, ITV Wales shows Reform surging, projected to become the largest party in Westminster if an election were held now. So if there was an election today, there's a chance that they would win, based on polling. Again, this could change, but that's what the polls are saying. So political rights polls for Reform on the 26% national, ahead of. Okay, so it's Reform has got 26% nationally, ahead of Labour at 23%, and the Conservatives at 18%. So we've got Reform in the lead. We've got Labour coming after that, and then Conservatives. So Conservatives really is kind of, he does keep saying, Nigel Farage, that Conservatives are over. Based on this, it's kind of saying they are. Estimates suggest Reform could win 271 seats, up from 5 in 2024. That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, they've only got 5 seats in government right now, but they could go up to 271. Gain strongest in leave vote areas. Okay, just remind you as well, the Reform Party started off as the Brexit Party, so you see where their roots were, what their roots were in. The LGBTQ plus record: anti-pride, banned pride flags in councils they control. Members caught on video calling the pride flag degradation flag. Oh wait, I'm saying this wrong now. Anyway, they were criticizing the trans flag, and criticizing the pride flag, the LGBTQ plus flag. Okay. They mandate. Oh wait, 1 minute. So their manifesto promises to ban transgender ideology in schools. So they class being transgender as an ideology. They're going to block social transitioning. How can you block social transitioning? So they want to block you being able to socially transition. Pronoun changes or gender questioning under 16. So basically, they want to stop us from being able to socially transition. They want to stop using pronouns, so we can't use the right pronouns for us. And they're not going to let anyone under 16 being able to question the gender. Does that sound far right to you? Because that sounds far right to me. Mandate single-sex toilets and changing rooms, which is what has already been tried to be pushed through. So you think it's bad now? How do you think it's going to be when reform get in? It looks like they're going to carry on with that. We're trying to ban us from the toilets anyway. They're going to overhaul the Equalities Acts and scrap the diversity and equality roles in policing. So we have diversity and equality roles, and that is so that we have it so that obviously if trans people are in the police force, or we have even like people from different ethnicities, we have policies there and we can work those things out. Well, they want to abandon all that, and they just don't want that. So to me, it does come across as far right. Farage personally, so what does the man who really is the head of the party and really his thoughts, what does he want? Well, he opposes same-sex marriage. He calls it wrong. Says civil partnership was enough. So he doesn't really agree with same-sex marriage. He thought that civil partnership was fine. He said HIV plus people should be banned or barred from entering the UK. So anyone with HIV shouldn't be allowed to come to the UK. He defends the Thatcher era, playing down harm of Section 28. So I think the Section 28 is to do with gay people, and recently claimed most stable relationships are heterosexual. So he does believe he doesn't support LGBTQ plus people. Let's see. 69% of reform voters opposed legal gender recognition for trans people. So 69% of the people that vote for reform don't think that we should have legal recognition. However, 65% do support same-sex marriage, which is not the same as Farage. So they don't agree with Farage on that, but they do think that we at 69% think that trans people shouldn't have legal recognition. So it's not good. It's not good at all. You don't want reform in if you're trans or if you're LGBTQ. It's not good for us. And so why does it matter? Well, the policies reform surge suggest Farage could hold real power, not just protect, not just protest votes, but shaping government policy. Yeah, because they'll have quite a large majority, quite a large party. They will be able to push a lot of their laws through. And so what they're saying is very likely could happen. For LGBTQ plus rights, the party openly commits to rolling back trans rights in schools, public spaces, and the equality law. So they're what they're doing now is going to be a lot worse than in the future. For culture, so normalizing anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric like flag banning, woke scapegoating, and official policy. So what's happening now won't just be fringe people saying it online and stuff. It will become policy. It will be acceptable to call trans people woke. It will be acceptable to ban the flags. So don't think you could be putting your trans flag up because they're basically they're going to ban that. You're not allowed to do that. Only UK, only Union Jack. It's the only one you can have. Union Jack or St. George, apparently, that's the only ones you can have in England. You can't have any other flag. So they said that daily life, trans people would face strict exclusion from toilets, schools, healthcare, and recognition backed by the law. Bigger picture, the UK could be heading towards a government led by a party that sees LGBTQ plus rights as harmful ideology rather than human rights. So yeah, you've got to understand from their concept. They see being gay and trans as an ideology, and they basically what they're going to do is they're going to make it really difficult for us to actually to live in society. So you just like now if you speak up, people can, they'll say, yeah, that's right. This party, you won't even have that. I know we've got Karma, we've got Keir Starmer, who's absolutely flip flops on everything. But even Keir Starmer, wouldn't be saying, well, I don't know now actually because he does flip flop. But I'm saying like you still have something. You still have something there. There's still something there, some little bit of recognition. With this, you'll have no recognition. International context. So what about the rest of the world? How does this compare with other countries and stuff? Well, the far right playbook, reform policies echo movements in Hungary, Poland, and parts of the US, where LGBTQ plus rights are being rolled back under anti-woke rhetoric. Okay, so we're more like those countries, more like Hungary and Poland now. Great. Flags and symbols. So bans on pride flags mirrors US school board fights, and Russians anti-LGBTQ plus propaganda law, where visibility itself is treated as a threat. So they want to stop visibility of trans people. They're trying. I mean, the one good thing about this, can they stop the internet? This is the thing. Like, I'm here on the internet. I've said about this channel being a voice, other trans channels being a voice. Can they silence us? Well, if they can cut our channels on the internet, maybe, but visually, they're going to try and shut us down. Global backlash. In contrast, governments like Germany, Canada, and New Zealand are strengthening LGBTQ plus protections as part of democracy and inclusion. Yeah. So we've got other countries now that are actually increasing our rights, supporting us more. But country, let's say like the country like UK, we're going backwards. And they can see this. We look like a joke to these countries. Contrast with the UK, a Farage-led surge would place Britain alongside governments dismantling LGBTQ plus protections, not those expanding them. Well, that's clear, isn't it? So I think we're looking more like we're going to be more like Russia. We're going to be more like more far right countries where we don't really support trans people. We don't want visibility for trans people. We treat trans people and gay people as well as and basically make it so that our existence, they want to basically erase us from public life, and even if you're under 16, you won't be able to question your gender. So I do think this is far right. I don't know how, and this is the thing. A lot of people are going out. This is just, so I just make this clear. This is just for LGBTQ plus, which I'm talking about. What about other things in society? What about other things besides that? Because this is what matters to us. But then it's like, well, what about other rights? What about other like free speech rights? Because he says he's for free speech, Nigel Farage, but he's not for free speech. He's for free speech when it's to do with him, but not free speech if it's against him or against what he believes. So keep that in mind. Watch what's happening in America and watch what's happening with Trump right now. You can't question Trump at the moment. Farage wants that same thing, okay? And that's because he believes that's the right thing. I do believe he thinks that's right. And I think his supporters think that's right. But the problem is what they don't understand is we live in a society and we all come from different backgrounds, and it's valuing other people's backgrounds. Like there is people out there who believe we should just have the Union Jack. Okay. Now I'm British. Union Jack, St. George, I grew up with that. But should I be allowed to put the trans flag on a pole and put it out there? Yeah, I should be able to. That's nothing wrong with. That's not against the Union Jack. That's not against the American flag. It's not against the St. George flag. What it is we are allowed to express our own feelings about what's important to us, and by doing this, it's far right because you're excluding people's own opinions. If I want to teach young children about trans people, why can't if you do that, they say, you shouldn't be near children. You shouldn't be putting ideology into their heads. It's not ideology. Young people, trans people exist. And those young people have to grow up and live in a world where trans people exist. So it's not ideology. It's basically teaching people to know we are still here, and teaching them that we're not creates fear. And this will, if Reform win, and I'm telling you now, I do believe that they will get a big chunk of vote. What I really believe is going to happen, and I tell you this is what I really believe. If they get in and they get that vote and they become the next government in the UK, I believe that their time when they're in power, we're going to see a lot of issues in the UK. And I think it's going to be a very difficult place for not just trans people, but also LGBTQ plus people. So we need to be staying together, and we need to start thinking about this, because it's going to happen eventually, and we need to be ready for that. Yeah. So that was my thoughts on that.